Hello, creative people. Today's video is for those of you who are tired of spending a lot of money on expensive markers that dry out quickly. I know how it is, you buy a beautiful book like Bobbie Goods, but then you remember that you need 120 shades of expensive markers to make it look nice, all because Influencer X's channel said so. But what if I told you that you can create incredible works of art with just basic colored pencils that you have at home? Want to know how? Come with me because today is the day for stylish art. If you like today's theme, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. I'm going to use the Faber Castell super soft colored pencil, but you can use whatever you have at home. The colors used will be in the video. I'm going to color this page. To prevent the paper from deforming with the pressure of the colored pencil, I'm going to put a stiff card stock underneath. With the help of my color chart, I will choose the colors I will use. Let's start with the puppy or teddy bear. I couldn't define what it is. If you know, let me know in the comments. To do this, I chose 2 shades of brown, one light and one darker for the shadows and a pinkish one for the nose. Let's start with the shadows with the darker brown. I will lightly color the areas where I want the shadows first. Now, with the lighter shade of brown, I will color the rest, going over the darker shade as well. Paint the nose pink and a little pink on the cheeks too. I want my cat to be tabby, so I used black to make spots. I chose 2 shades of blue to make the wall, one darker and one lighter. This time, I painted the entire wall with a lighter shade, and only then came with the dark blue to make the shadows. Now the windows with just a shade of yellow. I chose to use green for the shading on the bed blanket. I painted the areas where I wanted a shade of very light green. Now that I have chosen the reddish tone, I paint the rest of the blanket over the green, and in the areas where I want more light, I add a lighter red. Note that where the red and green meet, you get a very dark red, almost reddish brown. This helps to give volume to your work of art. We are going to use 2 shades of gray to paint the sheet. I start with the darkest shade for the shading and then the lightest gray. I repeated the blanket technique for the bow. I painted the frames without much secret with the chosen colors. For the leaves of the plants, I chose 2 shades of green and painted the stem with the darkest shade and the leaves with the lightest green. For the pages of the book, I chose a bluish gray and made lines to imitate the leaves. In the glass with water, I made the reflection of the colors of the wall and the lampshade very faintly in the water, and then with the bluish gray I painted the glass. On the lampshade, I left lighter areas with the same tone of the color chosen to represent the light. To paint the landscape outside the window, I chose light blue, bluish gray to stain the clouds a little, and 2 shades of bluish green in addition to yellow and orange. I used the bluest shade of green to color the mountain that is further away and the other shade of green to color the mountain that is closer. In the sun, I used a very weak orange before the yellow, just to give the color some warmth. On the bag, I'm going to use the technique of the shadow of the bed, but now red is the shadow. Now for the best part, the bed. Let's make the wood texture. For this, I chose 2 shades of brown and yellow ochre. Let's start by making lines with the lightest shade of brown, always in the same direction. With the darkest brown, we'll do the same, leaving the areas where the wood joins a little darker. Now I'll do the same with the yellow ochre. I'll repeat the operation in the same order to cover the white spaces. To help homogenize the colors, I used the blender. If you don't have a blender, you can use a white pencil or an eraser. I have a video here on the channel that teaches you how to blend using 4 different techniques. I'll leave the link in the description. I used bluish gray and dark blue to create shadows on the nightstand. I used the same shade of dark blue to create shadows on the objects on top of the nightstand. And we're done. Look how much volume there is with the help of shadows and textures. See how easy, fun, and much more challenging it is to paint with colored pencils without running the risk of the colors drying out like you do with felt-tip pens. Now tell me about it. Have you ever been frustrated because your felt-tip pen stopped working? If you've ever been through this, tag #coloredpencil in the comments. Share it with anyone who needs to save money and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next tips. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments. Kisses and see you next time with more tricks and less expenses. Thank you for watching the video until the end.
Enjoy! They are still free for Prime and Kindle Unlimited subscribers.